So finally for the ribbon, remember my light source is coming from this direction. I've done an overall mid-tone, and then I have darkened off this side because it curves around. This section will be darker, it will tend to become lighter, but I need to be able to, without an outline, have a difference in tone between this section and this section so they don't blend into each other. So I've got to make sure I've got a little bit of a darker tone without putting a line in there. And then I've also started to rub back into some areas. So you probably should put your mid-tones first, then add your darker tones, and then finally come back and do your highlights. And you always should do the highlights last. So you tone the whole thing, remembering here will be quite dark in comparison to here, so you need to add more tone here and here. This section where it folds back will actually, because it hits the light, will actually be lighter and then head darker. And this section here, because it curves in and under and is away from the light source, this will be darker and then become lighter towards the end, but certainly not as light as that. So I'm just using my kneadable eraser. I'm not really going to use my hard eraser very much for this one, but you can if you want a sharper line. So I've already started. I've sort of rubbed away some areas. So that, remember, don't use your finger, try and just blow it away. I am going to use the hard eraser on this edge here. You will notice though it does create a really hard line, which is not always what you want. But then I'm going to come back with my soft eraser and just soften it off a little bit and bring that highlight sort of back into the ribbon. All right, make sure you go, I'm turning it around and you're coming back. And I also lightened off my edges as well, just really lightly. You can even just dab the actual rubber, and that will get rid of some of your marks. Okay, and then just soften it off so it blends nicely. I would also sort of, if you've gone too dark, which I think I kind of did a little bit there, you can just lighten it off really subtly. And then you could use it here also when you're trying to produce your lighter tone towards a darker tone, and then here on the ends of your ribbon. So that's it for your ribbon as well. So make sure you tone overall mid-tone, add your shadows, then finally rub away your highlights. And you should produce a drawing that you're really happy with.